Hello, welcome to Macro Point of View Commodity News on the Monday, 21st July 2023, and in today's show we're gonna focus on the grains, oilseeds and some soft markets. So do not waste more time, let's take a look on the market, let's take a look on the candles, and please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much in advance and let's go for the market. Let's start our show with the wheat, and the wheat is currently reversing mostly due to good weather in United States of America, because the corn belt should experience a good weather for the next couple of days, which will affect the crops, especially the soybean and the corn, but wheat as well. And if we take a look on this market, it's completely stop taking care about no ways to export a large amounts of grains from Ukraine this year. European Union is not able to provide enough money to help Ukraine to export via roads, and the European Union also river shipments to Romania and Moldavia are already problematic due to war damaged to infrastructure after the stopping the deal from the Russia start bombing also export infrastructure on the south end of Ukraine, so it will also affect the river export routes. So I'm really surprised, especially that we are experiencing forecasting for a deficit of wheat in the world this year, and it looks like those contracts are mostly focused on United States wheat. Of course, there is a slightly bigger Sovecon forecast for the Russian wheat harvest this year. It's about 300,000 tons bigger than the previous forecast, but yet in the middle of the August we probably will see some dropping export forecast from Ukraine, probably dropping some production in Canada due to those forest fires. We will probably experience some rising forecast for Russia, but it should be affected by export. Russia is also claiming that they will deliver some 25 to 50,000 tons of wheat to several African countries as a humanitarian aid, replacing those deliveries from Ukraine. And also what was pointed, but I will probably take it a moment later. Anyway, I think the 700 that we are seeing here in the wheat, it's should be support this market at least a moment. As we can see, it was tapping point for the previous drop. If we're gonna reverse here going up, that will be a very good sign, because that might lead us into the consideration of rising price above 800 cents per bushel. If not, well, we might drop to SMA 55 anyway. So this is the wheat we are consider, and let's take a look as well on the corn. Corn is also dropping more and more, and it's also the weather, it's also other things. The idea is that on the first half of this year, the corn deliveries exported from Ukraine were also reaching China. Vladimir Putin was also claiming that most of those wheat and other grains and other seeds leaving Ukraine was supporting not poor countries in Africa, but supporting reaching the richer countries. And it probably means also the China. Ukraine was a biggest delivery, the biggest exporter delivering to China in the first half of this year, which may seem that China will now have to turn to other sources like Brazil and United States. Yet United States are also expecting a huge amount of corn, and with weather forecast being better in August for Corn Belt in United States, it's really supporting price falling. So there will be also as well that the export problems for the corn from Ukraine, especially now in the few weeks before the harvest, the new harvest, the Ukraine still didn't send all the grains they have it to export from the last season, and they will start now new harvest season, and it might also affect some prices as there will be much more grains that unexportable. So without export possibilities, probably some of those prices might rise a bit, but before that, I think we might expect some fight here around 500 cents for this moment. So it's really expected by me to reach 500, and I don't know if it's gonna be like this in May or like this in the beginning of the month. Probably for the beginning of August we'll see some dropping under 500, some fighting here to keep 500 level, and maybe then we'll see some turns. And I am looking where is... Here we've got the soybeans. The soybean is also dropping, mostly consistent, and we are under 1500. But if you take a closer look, you will see that most of the time for second half of June and the most of July, the price was range between 470 and 530. We have a nice consolidation here. Of course, there was some moving ups and downs, but returning to those consolidations were a good point to have some positions. And for now, what I will expect this week, we might return here and attack 1500 again. So for the short position, for the short time period position, but a long way, it might be a good idea. But as well, soybean will be affected by the prices. The price of soybean will be affected by the forecast of weather in the United States. We will also take a look on a crop progress report today evening from USDA, and they will probably create our point of view for the soybean, corn, and the wheat market for the next couple of days. The main reports, crop production, and reports for market, world market and trade will be released on 11th August. So we still have a couple of days before that, and it will be probably next week when the market news will be focusing on forecast for those reports. Not this week, next week. And for the coffee market, as you can see, we're still in consolidation between 155 and 166, and it's because we are expecting a good harvest of coffee for 2024 in Brazil, yet there might be some quality issues due to El Nino in Brazil, as it might create the problems that some of the leaves, some of the beans won't be on an equal level of maturity. So it will affect quality during the harvest next year, and it's still unpredictable, as well as El Nino affection for the Southeast Asia regions like Vietnam, like Indonesia, like India, when there will be also probably some quality measures for the coffee beans from that area. So that's why this market is keeping here, but if there will be no huge damage from El Nino, I might expect that the price of coffee might fall even lower than 120 cents. So it will be lower than very long time ago, because last time when we had 120 cents was here. We have its support on this in January 2021, and we had a price under 120 in October and November 2020. So it's a very long time ago for the markets, especially so big markets as the futures contracts. But I might still consider some short position due to fact that probably those El Nino won't be as bad as everyone expected. So I think those prices are really overpricing the El Nino possibilities. We hear El Nino, El Nino, El Nino, and it's still El Nina, I think, and it's still far from, well, anything. And the other thing, what I wish to take a look here today, it's, I see I don't have it open, so I open here. We have orange juice, which is keep rising, and it's rising almost, you see, for a long time. Yeah, here 2029, it's a daily, and since those second part of 2019 and the first quarter of 2020, since then we are have a bit rising, awaiting, and since second quarter of 2021 this market is keep rising. You might ask question why. This is why, because okay, we've got some better orange juice production forecast on season 2021-22, but 2022-23 is significant lower than the last season and even lower than 2020-21, and they are far and they're all except 2021-22, they're all under the previous seasons, back to 10 seasons back. So the first 6 seasons in the past 10 years were higher than those season forecasts. That's why we've got those such high prices, and there is also unknown affection for the next season. So it will be also really nice to take a look what might next season see as a production. So by looking for the production forecast from the Citrus World Markets and Trade released recently by USDA, we can see there is a production in the half year, the forecast for the production fall down, and it's, as I said, under 2021. It's a bit higher than 1920. On those other graph was looking that it was lower, but according to the tables it's a bit higher. Not so much, but well, consider comparing it to season 2018-19, well, it's really bad. But also the higher inflation around the world is dropping the consumption. It was first dropping in January, and there was still higher level of inflation in many countries, so it's keep falling in July. So I think the inflation is the main reason we are falling here. We had a start inflation in season 2021, and the pandemic and everything. We stopped going out, we stopped drinking so much, we stopped meeting. So it continues 21-22, and now it's falling because we have an inflation, so we start saving money. And orange juice is quite good to save money and buy less or drink it with water, not purely. So that's why I think this consumption is lower in the current world markets and trade for citrus market. So there might be still way and space to rise on those market, especially that if you take a look, it's the highest all-time high. So it's really hard to say we are at the end of those movements, because, well, all-time highs are very hard to play with due to the fact that there are all-time highs. There is no other points. I think we might set this Fibonacci, as today is 31st July, so we can see that might build some level, and if any dropping from those prices should be even 37 or more cents per pound for orange juice. But I'm not so sure they might drop right now, especially in this light of those dropping production of orange juice around the world. So we have to wait patiently to see any idea that this market is about to reverse at least a bit, at least those 20%. Okay, of those recent movement, not 20% of its total price, in about 10% of total price of current price. So this might be required to go under 308, maybe they'll go to 300, and then catch about 7-8% of those prices, something like that. So please be careful when you place your investments, and please do not forget, this is not a recommendation, this is just my point of view on the market based on macroeconomic data. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment, and maybe share it with your friends on social media. Thank you very much in advance. This was Macro Point of View Commodity News, and my name is Bogusz Kosowski, and I wish you have a nice day.